Hello and welcome back to episode 6. Thank you so much for being here. This is the second part to the interview with Chantal, and we're going to be talking a little bit about how she's in my support system and what that entails, and then we're going to be talking about what we are painting. So I'm excited. What role would you say that you have in my support system?
Oh, in your support system?
Yeah, in my support system, yeah.
Well, we're friends. I guess you could say we're friends.
Well, this is the time that you're like, we're enemies.
I mean, it's really hard because you are ugly. Okay. Well, I'm your friend.
Right.
I would like to think that you, come to me when you're struggling with something and want advice or just, someone to listen, a shoulder to lean on.
Right.
And I think because we deal with a lot of similar issues, like physically and mentally, I feel like there's kind of just a baseline understanding that we have with each other. There's almost like a shorthand, a little best friend shorthand that we have.
Right. And what kind of things do you feel that I come to you for assistance for?
Oh man, I mean, anything under the sun. I feel like we're both pretty good about coming to each other for, stuff about career stress or relationships or family drama or, navigating the medical system.
That is always a stressful one.
Yeah, and it's something that I feel like we understand each other on a level that not everyone might. Especially with disability stuff, for the most part, there's not much that I can really do or provide to fix things or make things, immediately better. But I think just having a judgment-free zone to kind of just talk things through, talk about frustrations and action plans and stuff, is helpful.
Is there ways that you feel like I support you in your life?
Absolutely. I think in a lot of the same ways that I hopefully support you. You are an incredible listener, and I know that you're never...
Buddy, get out of here.
I know that you're never going to judge me. I know that you're always going to be my friend, no matter what I say. I mean, unless I call you ugly. You're very understanding, and you make me feel like I'm not alone. And especially when we're talking about disability, it can be very lonely.
Yes.
So that's something I really appreciate about you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That means a lot. Is there a time that you have felt like it was hard to be a person in my support system?
No. I don't think so. And I think it is because we're so so reciprocal in our
Right.
support. You know, I lean on you and you lean on me, and it has never really felt like a burden for
Right.
me. But I know that is something that that I worry about with the people in my life, and I'm sure it's something that you worry
Oh,
about
yeah.
too.
I think for me, the hardest part because I feel like me and you know a lot of disabled people.
Yeah.
And I feel like disabled people kind of gravitate towards each other
Absolutely.
a lot. And I think what it is that the hardest part about being someone in like a support system for a disabled person is I feel like it can be really challenging when it's something you don't really have control over or they don't have control over. Like I know when you were struggling and you were going to see a lot of doctors, it was like I can't like bust down the door and be like, hey, this is
Totally.
happening to me and it's
Totally.
happening to her.
Totally.
And I think that for me is like the hardest part about being part of like your support system and anybody's support system.
Right, just having to bear witness
Yes.
to all of the atrocious things that a disabled person needs to go through.
Yeah. And I think but because of that, I think when you have a disability, suddenly I feel like people become more empathetic.
Right.
Not even to other disabled people, but just everyone in general.
Totally.
And you can like really see when people are having a hard time. I think it's a little bit easier to see that. At least for me, that's what I feel.
Yeah.
And I know it can be really challenging when I see you, like, you know, having to go into the office and already knowing that you're going to be sore because you can do stretches at home and you can do all this stuff, and just being prepared that it's like, okay, I know Chantal is going to be focusing on sleeping and resting and we're not going to be getting to spend as much time together. I think that's also like really hard.
Yes.
Because I don't, you know, I can't go in and work for you.
Totally. Totally.
We have mutual friends that are not disabled.
Right.
And who I think don't realize how much it drains our social battery to be around.
Right. And how much planning it can take to go and hang out with people, and how much time leading up to that interaction, and then afterwards you need to like recharge and rest.
Because I definitely feel like you treat them the same level as you treat me as like a friend.
Right.
But I feel like sometimes you're a little more, I don't want to say lenient on, especially because like when we make plans, you're fully aware that they could change like on the day.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes I know I get very frustrated with some of our friends not being lenient.
Right. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Like okay, yes, I see what you mean. I have struggled with some of my friends who are not disabled, finding me flaky, or
that drives me crazy.
yeah, or you know, being frustrated when I'm running late or when I need to cancel plans or reschedule, especially last minute. You know, I would love to be somebody who can plan my whole schedule a month in advance, but it's hard enough for me to plan things a day in advance.
Yeah.
You never know how you're gonna feel. So yeah, I never hold it against you when you're like, hey, not today.
And I feel like you're really good at making sure that, like, because sometimes I know that I push myself so much more than I should. And I feel like you're very good at recognizing the signs of being like, hey, Sarah's really struggling today, and maybe I should be the one that says, let's not hang out today.
Right.
So it takes kind of like the pressure off.
Right.
Me from feeling like flaky, because I feel like that's a huge thing that disabled people struggle with.
Yeah.
Is they never want to be seen as that way.
Yeah.
Because we're not. It's just the planning takes a little bit different.
Yes.
And being more open and I feel like it's hard. It's like this double-edged sword of we're trying to be as honest as possible, but also that can be like seen as like
An excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. And it's very vulnerable to talk about your disability with someone who is not disabled and then to almost feel like it's being used against you.
Yeah. How does it make you feel when I talk about my disability? What do you, like, so openly, I guess? How does that make you feel?
Incredibly proud. And of course it makes me sad for you. I hate hearing about things that you're struggling with. But yeah, for the most part, it's just, I feel so proud of you for, embracing your disability, and, it's here to stay.
Yeah.
It's, it is, as crappy as it is, it's part of your life. It's part of my life. It's part of who we are. And I feel like you are doing so much amazing work to destigmatize disability in general, but particularly your experience with disability. Yeah, but I also feel, angry when you tell me about a crappy doctor's appointment. Similar to you, I want to go and bust through the door and yell at hospital staff for you. But yeah, it also feels, very validating for me because we do have a lot of similar experiences. So it's like, oh, I know that Sarah will understand this thing because she has talked to me about it.
That makes sense. I also feel very similar to you about your experience. I feel like I feel like one of the hardest parts about having people in your life with disabilities is almost like you don't have any control to help them, and it's not like an easy fix, and it's hard to be like the person to ask somebody who is so strong, has been struggling for so long, to be like, what do you need? Because sometimes I know I don't always I'm just like, I'll just deal with it myself. I don't want to feel like I'm in the way.
Totally.
And I think like me and you are good enough friends now that we've been friends for so long that I think we now realize kind of like what to do naturally,
right?
Without even kind of like asking.
Right.
I remember when I was struggling like with back pain and the doctors said, oh, you just need to exercise more. I remember you coming out and walking like with me, just to have somebody with me to make it like less of a really bad experience of being in pain while walking up and down the road or the sidewalk.
Totally.
And you did that like completely without asking, or well, not without asking, but without seeing if that's what I would want, and you knew that it would help me, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm glad.
What would you say, though, is the hardest part about having somebody in your life with a disability for you?
I think it is, primarily that feeling of helplessness. I wish I could, take your pain away. I wish I could make your life easier. And I'm sure, everyone in your life, everyone in my life feels similarly. We don't like seeing the people that we love struggle. Yeah, I think it is just, it can feel very, very helpless, when you're in pain and when you are doing all the little things that you should be doing, you're taking your meds, you're moving your body and stuff, and you're still in pain. It's like, oh my God, how do I help this person?
It feels so discouraging, I think. That's the biggest part. I know for like when we were talking to my mom, that was like one of the biggest things is obviously as a mom, you don't want to see your kids going through this. And I know probably your mom feels so similar. And it's challenging to then have like all your friends, see all your friends. I mean, like we're young people, young adults, and we already have to like modify our life so much that it's like that it feels really like upsetting. But I think like, yeah, I think that that's like you said it exactly, is that it can be so discouraging and so upsetting just to see somebody in pain. And I think that's a huge thing about being empathetic to somebody's situation.
Right.
So one question I always ask everybody is, what do you have any advice, or do you want to say anything to people with disabilities?
I would just say that, you know, it obviously does suck, and
Right.
you don't need to pretend that it doesn't suck. It sucks. And it's hard, and it can be isolating, it can be embarrassing, it can be so many difficult things. But I think the most important thing that I would have liked to hear, you know, a year or two ago is that it's not going to always feel this bad and this hard.
Right.
It's, you know, it is going to get better, and then it might get worse for a bit, and then it's going to get better again. It can be a really long and grueling process, but I never thought that I would be where I am today.
Right.
And I'm still disabled. I still deal with pain pretty much every day, but it is not on a level that it previously was. Yeah, it gets better.
No matter how cheesy it sounds.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is cheesy.
Yes. Yeah.
And honestly, if me from a year ago would have heard that, I probably would have rolled my eyes.
Right.
But
then you hit the point where suddenly one thing's working,
Yeah.
and then it kind of falls into place, I think, after that.
totally.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say to people who are not disabled?
Oh, so many things. You know, if you think you're never gonna become disabled, think again, baby. It can happen to anyone. It can happen to you, or it can happen to someone that you love. So I think it's really important to, you know, develop that little section of empathy for
I think
yourself.
so. Yeah.
You know, I think most people are empathetic, but disability is almost like a dirty word that people don't want to think about.
Right.
And that is really only causing harm to, you know, the disabled people around you.
Yeah.
So yeah, just check in on the disabled people in your life. Give them grace. Understand that we're doing our best, and you know, we need to live our lives a little bit differently, but you know, make space for us in your lives.
I think it's important that what you said is important, making space. Because especially when it comes to like hobbies, which we're specifically talking about today, in these classes, it's like a lot of times it can be really hard to ask for accommodations, or you don't even know what kind of accommodations people could provide.
Yes.
So like being open about having that option when you're like teaching a class, or you're in a gym, or you're trying to make your business more accessible, to have it like stated somewhere that there is options for accommodations to prompt somebody. I think like that is like a simple way to make space.
Look into it before a disabled person has to pluck up the courage to ask for it.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that you said it. I think that that's a really important point. I love talking to like people especially other disabled people, but other people that I've interviewed on the show and talked to. I think it's interesting, almost things that I forget to mention, like that I'm very passionate about. And so yeah, making space is a huge one that I'm really passionate about. Let's talk about what we painted while we were talking.
Great.
This is our hobby.
This is our hobby, and we love talking about it.
You go first.
Okay. Okay, I will. These were, just some warm-up paintings.
Right.
They're garbage. I've been really into painting like water lately.
Right.
I saw a tutorial on Pinterest about painting water, and now I just do it
All the time.
all the time. These are some tulips. They're there. And then
I like this page.
Thank
this
you.
Is beautiful. I'm not saying that I didn't like the
No,
page.
hey, listen.
But I see the warm up and I see the schools out here.
Yeah, look, the warm up was important.
Yes.
I'm pretty happy with this.
This one's really nice.
Thank you. I've been really enjoying painting some little freehand flowers lately.
They look great. I like the shading on these and this, the shadows.
You.
You're good. You're getting good.
Thank you.
I better watch out.
I'm gonna get you.
Okay, my painting, I worked on one painting, didn't do a warm-up, and you can really tell.
I love it.
We got like a little treasure hunt going on with this big gorilla and this flower dude. And it was supposed to be flowering. I was just going to do flowers. I saw you were doing flowers, and I said, hey, you know what? There's a little bit of a theme there. And then it turned into this. I really hate this half, so maybe just this half is the one that's good.
See, the thing is, I like that half. And this half.
Yes. This was a little different for me because usually I draw with pencil before, but I just went right into it, which was such a weird experience. But yeah, that's my painting.
What made you add the gorilla?
What made me add the gorilla was that I love painting gorillas. I love drawing them with the little square face and their little pecs. And I was like, you know what? I like the texture of the fur. So I was painting this flower guy, and I was like, he's not turning out. And I was like, I want something better. So I put the gorilla in there.
Tried and true. You know this. I love the way you paint faces.
Yeah.
You are so good at capturing expressions with very minimal lines. So that's so cool.
He's obviously in this painting. He's not really into it. This guy looks more into it. But yeah, that's my painting. Thank you.
Thank you
for painting with me. That was fun. I enjoy that because this is a new hobby for you.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that we can kind of share knowledge. It's like a new way that we can be friends.
Aw, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for being here on this journey of difficulty settings through Season 1 and Season 2. I've learned so much about myself and about other people in my support system, and I hope you've taken something away from all the meaningful conversations that I've had with all these individuals. One of the biggest takeaways for me through Season 1 and Season 2 was that knowing that people with disabilities aren't alone on this journey, and other people are struggling and they're learning as well, and to keep moving forward, even if it's big steps or small steps. Each of them will get you towards the goal of having like a more accessible life and something that is manageable. But yes, I want to say thank you again for being here and joining and listening to all the meaningful conversations. They meant so much to me, and I hope that they meant something to you as well. So thank you very much.